my girlfriend is more than 20 years younger than me. There's a study that shows that once you get past 20 years, it's a 178% increase in the likelihood of divorce. I would, that's a thing that does not fit my narrative that I need to pay attention to. I'm not offended by it. It's new. It's a new data point I need to take in. Go back and read the last chapter of The Evolution of Desire by David Buss. Specifically, what he states in there is there are people who attack him and state, even if what you're saying is true, you shouldn't talk about it because it might be damaging to society. And his response is, it is better to know the truth so that we can become aware of what our internal evolutionary proclivities are so we can work through them. Okay?
Yeah.
So don't argue. Mackin and Alex shouldn't argue with me. Argue with David Buss. Because these are truths. And even if you think, well, he's like, why are you even concerned about this, bro? Like, when you say that, we're concerned because it's the truth. Objective truth is something you should be concerned about, even if it could, in the short term, have a deleterious effect. Are there some incels that are going to use these videos to propagate their ideas? For sure.
Absolutely,
but that's not the majority of people. It isn't the majority of people.
Yeah, and that was I had a diagram for this. Somebody bought it. Sometimes people purchase sheets for me. I needed the money in the beginning. I had a diagram where I made a video about, there was this attractive woman in a car. She makes a lot of videos in a car, and she was saying, why can't we all just remain deluded? Why can't we just stay delulu?
Yeah.
And I made a whole video about if you don't pay attention to the truth about how to farm, then we don't get food. And if you don't pay attention to the truth about how airplanes fly, then they don't stay in the sky. And if you don't pay attention to the truth about your life won't work either. If you don't pay attention to the truth of society, then society won't work either. The answer to the question, why do you care about this, is because the plane's falling out of the sky.
Yeah. The objective reality, you have to eventually get to that point. But you make the argument that throughout our ancestral period, objective reality was more of a concern of the men who were hunting, building the fortification, and protecting the tribe than it was for women who were emotionally caring for children and in the gathering society. I'm not saying women are like that now. I'm just saying through the majority. When people don't have this concept, grasp this, okay? This is 200,000 years of Homo sapien evolution, and a lot of this hominid evolution. So Homo australis, Homo habilis, these previous hominids that existed before Homo sapiens did. And by the way, they're all dead. And the reason why is because we're the most violent group of any of those hominids. And this over here is 15 years of Facebook. And what's happened is, because of the recency bias, you think that this is more real than this. But this is actually, this is what's baked in. A lot of people don't like that term, baked in, but this is what your evolution has put hardwired, that your firmware is here, and you can't just rewrite it unless you are aware of it. And if you're not aware of it, that's what therapy does for some people. Becoming aware of these proclivities that you have are the only way you can surpass them. You can transcend
Exactly. And it's a real mess. Like, we're supposed to be moving higher in order to make society better, and we're moving lower because everyone's addicted to technology. I went a really long time without getting a smartphone, and then when I got one, I just famously didn't use it when I didn't need to. And then when COVID happened, I was just on it every day because I was locked in my apartment. I had nothing to do. And I get it now. That for a long time I wasn't addicted to it, but I get it now that it's like you need to see what's going on in order to be connected. And then when you see what's going on, you don't have time to think about it before you move on to the next thing. When you get disconnected from stuff, like, there's a lot of people who ask me, do I know this person? Do I know that person? Do are you aware of this and that thing? And I haven't seen the movie, and I don't know I haven't seen the thing. It's the indulgence in the everybody drowning in social media necessitates that you drown yourself in it too, or else you don't have anything to talk to them about. If you're not watching the same shows and seeing the same things, if you don't know the same memes, then people just go, oh, you're not even with it, and then you can't connect to people anymore. It's a situation that necessitates unhealthy behavior that brings down your ability to be objective about yourself, that takes away your ability to understand what's going on in your mind. It's like it almost seems like it was designed. I get conspiratorial pretty easily. It feels like it was designed by some alien or something to say, well, how do we make them not ever access the higher the parts of their mind? Well, let's give them something that necessitates that they exhaust their brain power on constant stimulation, or else they can't fit in with each other.
Yeah. In order to maintain relevancy, they have to participate in something that drags them down to lower levels of thinking.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
I don't think it's a conspiracy. I do think if you look at what China shows on TikTok in China versus what China shows on TikTok in the United States, it's very clearly different. And you could say, well, profit motive, whatever. I do think that there is a part of the Chinese population that likes the fact that that their population is far more educated in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics than we are in the United States.
Yeah.
I think there's a part of them that like knows in the future, if we can just keep them bickering and watching stupid videos about cats, that eventually they're going to get to a point where we will surpass them economically and on a world stage. And so I think that people might want to look at that, but in order to do that, you have to. So it's funny. I've seen this before. You ask a group of people, how many of you here think that the media fools lots of people, and they'll all raise their hand. How many of you here thinks the media fooled you, and none of them raise their hand. And it's just like, bro, like because they don't grasp that their own bias. You should see people's. I don't dislike Donald Trump at all, but the thing is, when you say, hey, Donald Trump was raising money for Democrats in 2008, watch their brains melt. Like they just can't conceive of like, no, wait a second, this goes against my narrative. I'm fully open to ideas. Like one of them, my girlfriend is more than 20 years younger than me. There's a study that shows that once you get past 20 years, it's a 178% increase in the likelihood of divorce. I would, that's a thing that does not fit my narrative that I need to pay attention to. I'm not offended by it. It's new. It's a new data point I need to take in. And so that's essentially what I wish we could all do. But the reason why is because I don't take data points in as personal attacks against me.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's exactly again, what I'm trying to get people to do is just because something is said or just because something is true, it doesn't mean that it's like I have someone saying observation bad here. This is an experience that I get a lot. I'll just say something like, hey, these are the facts. And people go, you're an incel. And it's like it's an impenetrable wall of low level thought that I don't know how to get through. And, the way that you just said that is it's a perfect demonstration of, okay, there is a fact. So I like, and this might be my reaction to it, but I have to put that away and look at the fact. Yeah. Because I can't just go, oh, the world is whatever I want it to be. I'm hoping to figure out some way to make people embarrassed to be this.
Right.
Instead of
exactly. Yeah. Instead of doing any kind of research.